Coming up on OU Nightly, the third candidate for Dean of Gaylord College. Hear what she plans to implement if selected. And a former Norman High assistant principal convicted of sex crimes, what he could be facing.
And temperatures on the rise this week, a late week storm chance, and your spring break forecast all coming up. This is OU Nightly.
Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Victoria Anderson.
And I'm Spencer Plato. We begin tonight with a new dean candidate on campus today, hoping to head up the OU Gaylord College of Journalism and Mass Communications. This comes after former Dean Ed Kelly retired last year. OU Nightly's Kaylee Carnine introduces us to one of the candidates wanting to fill his shoes.
I'm outside Gaylord College, but inside, the search for the dean continues. The third candidate, Dr. Emily Metzger, met with faculty and students today discussing her vision for the school.
A dean needs to wear a lot of different hats.
Dr. Metzger is currently the director of the School of Media and Journalism at Kent State. She graduated with her doctorate in Media and Public Affairs from the Louisiana State University's Manship School of Mass Communication. Metzger says as dean, she looks to implement three main ideas: Gaylord Scholars, a program that would recruit high-achieving high school students; Gaylord Connect, a national conversation focused on local news and academic partnership; and a new Gaylord Virtual Production Lab, a new collaborative space for virtual production. But these new initiatives come with a price tag. Dr. Metzger says as dean, part of her job will be to fundraise, among other things.
They need to understand how a university works. They need to be able to engage donors. They need to reach out to alumni. They need to be the chief cheerleader for their college.
Along with fundraising, she will also prioritize and cultivate relationships with students.
I think the way that someone new coming in can try to, at least in the short term, try to help continue this sense of belonging is to demonstrate sort of a sincere openness to conversation.
And like I said, Dr. Metzger's the third candidate. The other two will be here tomorrow and March 25th. Reporting from Gaylord College, Kaylee Carnine, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Kaylee. And it's a beautiful day to be outside.
Definitely. Let's get a check at these spring temperatures with OU Nightly meteorologist Carlin McCreary. Carlin?
Thank you, Victoria and Spencer. These warm temperatures have been on the rise, and they're going to stick around over the next few days. What we're looking at right now, though, is temperatures in the 70s here in Norman, Oklahoma City, up in the Panhandle, just a little bit warmer than that, sitting at 75 degrees. So we're feeling fairly warm, and along with the warmth, we also do have a higher UV index on the way this week. We have a moderate UV index Tuesday, Thursday, but take a look at Wednesday. We have a high UV index, and then Friday just a little bit lower than that with some cloud cover on the way. But a lot of people will be outside over the next few days, so let's send it over to OU Nightly meteorologist CD Finley. Let's see what's going on.
Thanks, Carlin. It is an absolutely beautiful day outside. I'm here at the tennis courts here on campus, and it's a beautiful day for some tennis. Now, if you do plan on being outside today, you are going to want some sunscreen. So lather up in some sunscreen before you head out and enjoy the weather today. You may not only want some sunscreen, you may also want some sunshades. That way you can block out the sun and the haters. Carlin, back to you.
Thank you so much, CD. For sure, don't forget that sunscreen with that high UV on the way. But coming up in the rest of the show, we have windy and warm temperatures and conditions ahead, a Thursday cold front to look ahead for, and late week storm chances. So I'll have all of that coming up and more. Ladies?
Thanks, Carlin. A former Norman High School assistant principal and 2018 finalist for Teacher of the Year is convicted of sex crimes. A jury found Robert Brian Davis guilty after two incidents in 2016 and 2017. A woman went into Davis's home where she was given something to drink and then assaulted by Davis. Court documents detail another incident involving a 17-year-old who Davis touched inappropriately. Davis will face sentencing in April. And U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has traveled to Jamaica to attend meetings over the numerous attacks happening in Haiti. Darby McCormick has that and the rest of today's national and international headlines from the News Center.
U.S. Secretary of State Blinken is scheduled to meet with the Caribbean leaders in Jamaica today. This is a part of an urgent push to solve the crisis in Haiti as gang attacks on key government targets continue to worsen. These attacks have included the burning of police stations, closing of international airports, and raids on two of the country's biggest prisons, which freed more than 4,000 inmates. New Jersey Democratic Senator Bob Menendez pleads not guilty today to 12 new felony charges alleging his obstruction of a federal investigation into bribery allegations. Menendez was indicted last week on new charges including bribery and extortion. Prosecutors alleged he and his lawyers provided false information in interviews with investigators. Attorneys for Donald Trump want to delay the start of his upcoming New York criminal trial until the U.S. Supreme Court weighs in on presidential immunity. The criminal trial is related to his alleged hush money payment made during his 2016 presidential campaign to adult film star Stormy Daniels. Jury selection for the trial is scheduled for March 25th. And City of Chicago is responding to 3 new cases of measles in less than a week. This adds on to a national outbreak of 45 cases in 17 states. Victoria Spencer.
Thanks, Darby. Earlier today, the Oklahoma House of Representatives approved a bill that would offer cancer screenings to all Oklahoma firefighters. The bill is meant to help ensure free early detection of cancer, the #1 cause of death for active duty firefighters. Now the bill heads to the Senate after a unanimous decision in the House of 92-0.
And one campus organization is using National Women's History Month as a way to highlight leaders on campus. Kaylee Jo Hommel has more on the efforts to advocate for women's health care.
This is what celebrating women sounds and looks like. OU Women's Health Advocacy did just this with their 2nd annual Menstrual Met Gala.
Putting together this event was like a celebration of women itself, seeing like what we can do.
The event held on International Women's Day included food, a speaker panel with women in healthcare, and red carpet inspired outfits.
We think it's just so important because, of course, it's International Women's Day and it's just the perfect time to spread more information about what the women in the world are doing and what we're doing on campus as well.
The nonprofit aims to increase campus awareness on women's health by providing access to resources.
I cannot even imagine a group of better women, a group of better leaders and workers and teammates. Our organization is just a place of safety, of also education and awareness.
The members operate around 70 stations with free period products and bathrooms across OU, and their efforts aren't going unnoticed.
They have like saved me in like a stressful moment, and just like hearing that kind of feedback has, I don't know, it makes me so happy.
These women recognize the impact they have on campus and the community, and in their own lives as well.
It's empowered me, it's emboldened me to be a better leader and a better person and a better woman.
It's provided me with such good connections and friends and such a great community, and I just couldn't be more thankful.
Reporting from the University of Oklahoma, Kaylee Jo Hommel, OU Nightly.
Women's Health Advocacy takes donations online. Visit their website to learn more.
Coming up on OU Nightly, according to new data, things are looking up for home buyers.
What you can expect from the real estate market this spring season.
And before you plan spring break road trip, you might want to look at gas prices.
We have new numbers on some of the highest prices in years. Next on OU Nightly.
The National Association of Realtors says home buyers have a good reason to be optimistic this spring. OU Nightly's Olivia Hayes has more on this year's housing market in today's Money Matters.
The National Realtors Association says come spring, there should be more inventory and lower mortgage rates for homes. While mortgage rates are going down, they're still higher than they were this time last year. Realtors suggest families should close on a house before the new school year starts in the fall. However, houses will still cost more than ever before. With all of the manufacturing issues at Boeing and delays with aircraft certifications, United Airlines says they're putting a pause on hiring pilots this spring. The manufacturing issues has United waiting on dozens of planes that were scheduled to be delivered this year. In a letter to United's employees, the airline said it will pause hiring in May and June and likely restart in July. From the air to the road, AAA says the national average for a gallon of regular gas climbed to $3.40 a gallon this week. This is a 4-month high. Experts say gas prices tend to rise at this time of the year as demand for fuel goes up once winter ends. This year's late winter jump in prices has been boosted by troubles at refineries, with extreme cold in January knocking some of them off the line. As for gas prices here in Oklahoma, they're still going up. People are paying 17 cents more at the pump. This week, it's an average of $3.06 a gallon. Victoria, Spencer.
Thanks, Olivia. In less than a month, millions of Americans will look to the sky to catch a glimpse of a total solar eclipse. The eclipse will race across the United States and Mexico on April 8th. The path of totality cuts across Texas and clips southeast Oklahoma. Scientists urge you to protect your eyes by wearing special eclipse glasses, but make sure you find them from a trustworthy source.
Be mindful of where you got your glasses. A reputable vendor or NASA or a library or a museum, because there are counterfeits out there.
You can visit go.nasa.gov/eclipse2024. Spencer, do you have your glasses?
I actually do have my glasses, and I'm pretty excited to watch it.
Okay, you're gonna have to send me the link. I need to protect my eyes.
And when we return, hear what Airbnb is banning from their properties.
And how the company is hoping to protect renters' privacy next.
And if you have any plans this week before spring break outdoors, I'll have your full forecast coming up on OU Nightly. Keep it here. Well, welcome back and thank you for joining us on this Monday afternoon. Once again, just a beautiful day outside, beautiful blue skies. Even the South Oval has started to garden just a little bit for springtime. 70 degrees out there right now. A very, very prominent wind. You can see 14 miles per hour south-southwest out there, so just a little bit breezy. It feels like 77 outside, so a little bit warmer than what we are truly feeling outside right now. And across the state, they're seeing similar temperatures as well in the 70s. Norman 70 degrees, Woodward 72, Elk City 70 as well. A little bit cooler in the southern part of the state, but not too much off that 70-degree mark for today. Current wind speeds as well. We are a little bit higher in miles per hour, 14 in Norman. Elk City, though, 25 miles per hour, Woodward 21 miles per hour, and those wind gusts are even higher, 34 miles per hour in Elk City, 22 miles per hour here. So you are definitely feeling that outside if you are walking around. And in those higher wind gust area, there are some fire danger alerts. There is a red flag warning in the majority of the panhandle. That includes Woodward and Guyman up into the northwestern part of the state. But nothing to be concerned about here in the central part of Oklahoma. As for your current satellite and radar, once again, you can see that dry line set up in the western part of the state, and ahead of that dry line is where we are seeing that red flag warning. But timing out future wind gusts, we are going to see them start to ramp up over the next few days. So be sure to keep that in mind into the rest of your week. You can see continuing on into Tuesday, we're going to be at 23 miles per hour in Norman, but up in that northwestern part of the state, we're going to see those values just a little bit higher. But take a look at Tuesday at 1 p.m. 33 miles per hour for your wind gusts on Tuesday. So keep that in mind if you are walking to your classes or your midterms this week. And then heading on into Wednesday, we once again are going to start to see those ramp up into 30 miles per hour in the central part of Oklahoma and our neck of the woods of Norman, as well as Wednesday in the evening. We're also going to see those start to increase. As for future clouds and precipitation, we're going to continue to see a little bit of cloud cover moving on into next week. What we're watching is this cold front that's going to bring in some potential for some severe weather and strong storms. So we're definitely tracking that into the next few days. As for Tuesday and Wednesday, sunshine, and then you can see we are going to track those storms into the rest of your week. So what we are tracking is that severe weather into the rest of the week, and tomorrow we're going to see this start to pop up, but we are going to have warmer temperatures over the next few days, so I'm going to be sure to get outside and enjoy it. Are y'all going to?
Well, it's kind of like midterms right now, so I'm going to be like inside, not in the sun, unfortunately, but just cramming for those tests before spring break.
Definitely.
So what I'm hearing is I need to get my tan on this week to prepare for spring break before those cooler temperatures move in.
For sure.
Oh, think it's smarter. What about you?
I think I'm going to study and be outside, maybe a little bit of a mix.
Study outside.
Yes, study
Innovative.
outside. Definitely, yeah.
Well, thank you, Carlin, for that forecast. And Airbnb is banning indoor security cameras starting April 30th. The rental app says it's to protect renters' privacy. Cameras used to be allowed in common areas like hallways and living rooms. Hosts had to include in the listing that they have indoor cameras and make them clearly visible. The new rule doesn't allow them at all. It comes after numerous reports of renters finding hidden cameras. The new policy still allows outside cameras, but hosts have to disclose their use and locations before guests book a listing.
And the OU men's basketball team finished up the regular season with a trip to Texas.
And women's basketball just finished their game against Iowa State today. Emma McAndrews has more in sports.
Thanks, ladies. Some former Sooners are making money moves in their respective leagues, and OU baseball and softball both opened up conference play in Norman this weekend. Home runs, walk-offs, and run rules next in sports. Hello, I'm Emma McAndrews, and it's time for sports. Oklahoma women's basketball continues their chase for a Big 12 tournament title today in the semifinal against Iowa State. OU enters as the #1 seed, but the Cyclones took control of the game early and the Sooners could never recover. The 85-68 loss sends the Sooners home to await their fate on Sunday when the NCAA Selection Committee unveils their bracket. This loss makes it hard for OU to host the first 2 rounds in the NCAA tournament. OU men's basketball traveled to the Lone Star State for their regular season finale versus Texas. Senior Rivaldo Soares scored 21 points, but it wouldn't be enough. The Sooners dropped the game 94-80. OU now turns their attention to the Big 12 tournament where they will face TCU on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Porter Moser reflects on OU's final season in the Big 12.
It is a grind. There's, every one of us, we had one bye week, and every one of us is going 3 days prep for the kids mentally. And you know what? It's not as much for us. This is what we do. It's for the guys to every game have to get ready for the most physical, old talented teams. It is a grind, but it also, there's nothing like it.
Former OU quarterback Baker Mayfield will continue to cook in Tampa Bay. Mayfield agreed to terms of a 3-year contract worth up to $115 million with the Buccaneers Sunday, with $50 million guaranteed, according to the NFL Network insider Ian Rapoport. Former Sooner Abraham Answer hoisted his 6th professional trophy on Sunday. Answer won with a birdie on the first playoff hole to win Live Golf's tournament in Hong Kong on Sunday. Answer pockets $4 million after the win. Sooner softball looks to bounce back after dropping in the rankings to #2, hosting Iowa State this weekend, and they brought out the brooms. The Sooners took game 1 and 2 by a combined score of 15-2 and finished the series by run-ruling the Cyclones Sunday 14-1. And from the circle to the mound, could OU baseball do the same? The Sooners opened conference play this weekend and swept Central Florida. The Sooners finished the sweep with a 14-2 run rule on Sunday, with Easton Carmichael winning Co-Big 12 Player of the Week. And OU women's gymnastics continues to prove why they are the top team in the country. With a pair of perfect 10s from junior Jordan Bowers on floor and sophomore Ava Siegfeld field on beam, the Sooners beat Arkansas with their 7th straight score of over 198 and are the first school to do so in NCAA history. Victoria, Spencer.
Thanks, Emma. Next on OU Nightly, Osage Nation receiving a standing ovation at last night's Oscars.
We have the details on their historic performance and what some are calling the biggest snub of the night. Next.
An update on an Oklahoma lawmaker's push to lock the clock. State Senator Blake Stevens' proposal to end daylight saving passed on the Senate floor. The bill would permanently keep Oklahoma on daylight saving time as long as the U.S. Congress passes a similar measure. 19 states have already approved adopting daylight savings time year-round. A different bill designed to keep the clock on standard time did not make it to a vote this session. Victoria, Spencer.
Thanks, Bryn. After a star-studded Oscars night, sadly, the filmed-in-Oklahoma blockbuster Killers of the Flower Moon walked away with no wins after 10 nominations.
Though Osage Nation was front and center performing their Oscar-nominated song from the film titled Wazachi, or Song for My People. The performers received a standing ovation, but unfortunately lost out to Billie Eilish's What Was I Made For from Barbie.
Thanks for watching OU Nightly. Good night.